I, 32, F, am a successful business owner. My brother Ethan, 30, M, thinks he's better than everyone. When he said some people just aren't good at business, he meant me. Those words cut deep, but they weren't just cruel. They were part of his plan. Ethan had been working for years to take over everything our family had built. He thought he had already won. He was about to find out that I had a plan of my own. My lawyer was about to change everything for him. Our family business is a coffee chain with stores all over the state. My dad built it from nothing. He started with one small shop when he was 25 years old. Now there are 47 locations. The company is worth millions. Dad always said the business would be split equally between Ethan and me. He promised us both that we would share everything. But Ethan never wanted to share. He wanted it all for himself. Growing up, Ethan was the golden child. He got straight A's in school. He was captain of the football team. Everyone loved him. I was quieter. I liked to read books and work on art projects. Dad loved us both. But Ethan knew how to make Dad proud. He knew exactly what to say to make Dad smile. He knew how to make himself look perfect. When we both started working at the company, things seemed fine at first. I worked in marketing. Ethan worked in operations. We both reported to Dad. We both learned the business from the ground up. But after a few years, I noticed things changing. Ethan started having private meetings with Dad. He started making decisions without asking me. He started acting like he was the only one who mattered. The first time he really hurt me was 3 years ago. We were supposed to present a new expansion plan to Dad together. We had worked on it for months. The night before the presentation, Ethan called me. "Hey, I think it would be better if I present alone," he said. You know how Dad gets when there are too many voices in the room. I trusted him. I let him present alone. Later, I found out he had told Dad the entire plan was his idea. He took all the credit. When I confronted him, he just smiled. "Business is business," he said. After that, things got worse. Ethan would schedule important meetings when he knew I couldn't attend. He would forget to copy me on emails. He would tell Dad I was late to work when I wasn't. "This," he said to me once in the parking lot. "You should find something else to do with your life." I asked him why he was being so cruel. "I'm not being cruel," he said. "I'm being honest. Some people are born to lead. Some people aren't." I started keeping notes of everything Ethan did. Every meeting he excluded me from. Every lie he told Dad. Every time he undermined me. I filled 3 notebooks with examples. But I knew notes weren't enough. I needed to be smarter than him. I needed to play my own game. 2 years ago, Ethan made his biggest move. He convinced Dad to restructure the company. "We need clear leadership," Ethan told Dad. "The company is growing too fast. We need one person making the final decisions." Dad agreed to make Ethan the CEO. I was made a vice president. It was a fake title. I had no real power anymore. "Don't take it personally," Ethan said when the announcement was made. "Dad just knows I'm better suited for this role." I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell everyone what he had done. But I stayed quiet. I smiled. I congratulated him. I let him think he had won. Being CEO wasn't enough for Ethan. He wanted more. He started talking to Dad about succession planning. "We need to think about the future of the company," he said. "We need to make sure it stays in capable hands." He meant his hands. Only his hands. I watched as Ethan slowly convinced Dad that I wasn't responsible enough to inherit the business. He would point out small mistakes I made. He would exaggerate problems. He would create situations where I would look bad. If a project failed, he made sure Dad knew I had been involved. If a project succeeded, he made sure Dad thought it was all his doing. "Maybe you should consider other options for your future," Ethan said to me one day. We were in his big CEO office. He had decorated it with awards and photos of himself with important people. "I could buy out your share of the company. You could start fresh somewhere else." I looked at him sitting behind his huge desk. "I'm not going anywhere," I said. He laughed. "We'll see about that," he said. 6 months ago, Ethan started bringing up Dad's will at family dinners. "You need to make sure everything is in order," he would say. "The company needs stability. You need to make the hard choices now." I felt like I had lost my dad and my future all at once. But then I got angry. Really angry. Ethan had stolen enough from me. He had turned my own father against me. He had made me look weak and incapable. He had taken my birthright. But he had made one mistake. He had gotten so confident that he had gotten sloppy. He thought I had given up. He thought I was beaten. He was wrong. I started my own plan. First, I hired a private investigator. I wanted to know everything about what Ethan was doing at the company. The investigator found interesting things. Ethan had been making side deals. He had been taking money that should have gone to the company. He had been promising people things he couldn't deliver. He wasn't as perfect as he pretended to be. Next, I started talking to employees. Not obviously, just casual conversations. "How are things going?" I would ask. "How's working for Ethan?" The stories I heard were shocking. Ethan was a terrible boss. He took credit for other people's work. He blamed others for his mistakes. He had fired good people for questioning him. The employees were scared of him. I also started looking at the company's finances more carefully. Ethan had been hiding things. He had been moving money around. He had been making the company look more profitable than it was. He was setting things up so he could sell the company after Dad gave it to him. He didn't care about our family legacy. He just wanted money. 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, I did something brave. I called Dad and asked if we could have lunch, just the two of us. No Ethan. Dad seemed surprised, but agreed. We met at a small restaurant outside of town. I knew Ethan wouldn't find us there. "Dad, I need to show you something," I said. I pulled out a folder. Inside were all the documents I had gathered, the proof of Ethan's lies, the proof of his theft, the proof of his plans to destroy everything Dad had built. Dad's hands shook as he read through the papers. "This can't be true," Dad said. His face was pale. "Ethan wouldn't do this." I pulled out my phone and played a recording. It was Ethan talking to someone about selling the company. He was laughing about how easy it was to fool our father. Dad's eyes filled with tears. "I'm so sorry," Dad said. "I've been such a fool." He told me immediately. I was given full control of the company. Ethan would get a small amount of money, but nothing else. The lawyer would be ready for my call on Thanksgiving. The week before Thanksgiving, Ethan was in the best mood I had ever seen. He walked around the office like he owned it, which he thought he soon would. "Big things are coming," he kept saying to people. "Changes are going to be made." He had no idea how right he was. He called me the day before Thanksgiving. "I hope you're ready for tomorrow," he said. "Dad has something important to announce." I played dumb. "What do you mean?" I asked. "You'll see," he said. "Just be prepared for some news about your future." I could hear the smile in his voice. Thanksgiving Day arrived. The whole family was there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone. Ethan had invited them all. He wanted an audience for his victory. He kept looking at me and smiling. He thought this was going to be the best day of his life. We sat down for dinner. The table was beautiful. Mom had cooked all day. Everyone was talking and laughing. Ethan sat across from me. He kept making eye contact. He was enjoying this. He thought I had no idea what was coming. Halfway through dinner, Ethan stood up. He tapped his wine glass with a spoon. "I'd like to make a toast," he said. Everyone got quiet. "To family," he said, "and to the future of our family business." He looked right at me. "Some people are natural leaders. Some people are born to run companies." He paused for effect. "And some people just aren't good at business." The room went silent. Everyone looked at me. They were waiting for me to react. Ethan's smirk was huge. He thought he had just delivered the final blow. He thought he had humiliated me in front of everyone. He sat down, looking satisfied. I stood up slowly. I pulled out my phone. "You're right, Ethan," I said. "Some people aren't good at business. Some people lie and steal and manipulate." Ethan's smirk started to fade. "Some people betray their own family for money." I dialed my lawyer's number. "Hey," I said when he answered, "could you please call my dad and talk to him about the will?" I put the phone on speaker. Everyone could hear the lawyer's voice. "Ethan, the lies, the stealing, your plans to sell the company. You showed him, didn't you?" Ethan turned to me. His face was twisted with rage. You poisoned him against me. I shook my head. I just showed him the truth, I said. You poisoned yourself with your own greed. Ethan started yelling. I'm the one who made the company successful. I'm the one who doubled our profits. I'm the CEO. You can't do this to me. Dad's voice was firm. Yes, I can, he said. And I have. You're fired, Ethan. Effective immediately. You can't fire me, Ethan screamed. I'll sue you. I'll take you to court. I'll destroy this company before I let her have it. That's when I played my recording. It was Ethan's voice talking about his plans to sell the company, talking about how he had fooled Dad, laughing about how stupid his family was. The room listened in shock. Our grandmother started crying. Our mother had to sit down. Our cousins looked at Ethan like they had never seen him before. He was exposed. Everyone could see who he really was. I think you should leave, Dad said to Ethan. This is no longer your home. Ethan looked around the room. He was looking for support. He was looking for someone to defend him, but everyone was silent. Everyone had heard the truth. This isn't over, Ethan said. He pointed at me. You think you've won, but this isn't over. He stormed out of the house. We heard his car squeal out of the driveway. The room stayed quiet for a moment. Then our grandmother spoke. Good riddance, she said. I never liked how he treated you. She looked at me. You're going to do wonderful things with the company. Everyone started nodding and agreeing. They had all seen how Ethan treated me. They just hadn't known how to help. Dad came over and hugged me. I'm so sorry for not believing in you, he said. I'm sorry for letting him manipulate me. Can you forgive me? I hugged him back. Of course, I said. You're my dad. I love you. The next few weeks were intense. Ethan tried everything to fight the will change. He hired lawyers. He made threats. He tried to turn employees against me, but it didn't work. The will was saved. Ethan kept trying to contact me. He would call and leave angry voicemails. You ruined my life, he would say. I hope you're happy. Then he would call and leave sad voicemails. Please, I'm your brother, he would say. We can work this out. I never called him back. 3 months after Thanksgiving, I got a letter from Ethan's lawyer. Ethan was officially giving up his fight. He would take his $20,000 and leave. He would have no claim on the company. He would have no contact with the family business ever again. All I had to do was sign the papers. I signed them immediately. I heard from our cousin that Ethan had moved to another state. He had tried to get a job at another company, but word had gotten out about what he had done. No one wanted to hire someone who had betrayed his own family. He ended up taking a low-level sales job. The Golden Boy was now just another salesman. Meanwhile, the company started thriving under my leadership. I implemented new policies that treated employees fairly. I expanded our product line based on customer feedback, not Ethan's ego. I made partnerships with local suppliers instead of the cheap ones Ethan had chosen. Within 6 months, our profits were up 30%. Dad came to the office every week to see how things were going. I'm so proud of you, he would say. You're doing everything I dreamed of and more. He told me stories about when he started the company. He shared his vision for what he had wanted it to become. It was exactly what I was building. One day, about 8 months after Thanksgiving, I was working late at the office. My assistant knocked on my door. There's someone here to see you, she said. He says he's your brother. I knew it was Ethan. I thought about having security throw him out, but I was curious. I wanted to see what he had to say. Ethan walked into my office. He looked different. His expensive suit was replaced with cheap clothes. His perfect hair was messy. His confident posture was gone. He looked defeated. Can I sit? He asked. I nodded. I know you hate me, he said, and you have every right to. I was terrible to you. I was terrible to everyone. He looked at his hands. I've lost everything. My job, my money, over love. You made your choice. People can change, he said. I've learned my lesson. I know what I did was wrong. Give me a chance to prove it. He was actually crying now. The great Ethan was crying in my office. But I didn't feel sorry for him. He had brought this on himself. No, I said. You haven't changed. You're just desperate. If I gave you a job, you would spend every day trying to undermine me again. You would try to turn people against me. You would wait for any opportunity to take over. I know you, Ethan. I know exactly who you are. He stood up. The tears were gone. The anger was back. You're making a mistake, he said. I could help this company. I have skills. I have experience. I stood up too. Your skills are lying and manipulating, I said. We don't need those here. You think you're so much better than me, he said. But you're not. You're just lucky Dad believed your lies. I laughed. They weren't lies, Ethan. They were facts. Every single thing I showed Dad was true. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. He walked to the door. Before he left, he turned around. I'll never forgive you for this, he said. You destroyed my life. I looked him straight in the eye. No, Ethan, I said. You destroyed your own life. I just made sure you couldn't destroy mine. He left and I never saw him again. I heard from relatives that he moved even farther away. He cut off contact with everyone in the family. He became a ghost. The golden boy who had wanted everything ended up with nothing. The company continued to grow. We opened 10 new locations in the next year. We launched a successful online store. We started a program to help young entrepreneurs. Everything Ethan had said I couldn't do, I did. And I did it better than he ever could have. Dad officially retired a year after I took over. The company is in the best hands possible, he said at his retirement party. My daughter has shown me what real leadership looks like. Everyone applauded. I cried happy tears. It was everything I had dreamed of. Sometimes I think about that Thanksgiving dinner. The look on Ethan's face when he realized his plan had failed. The shock when he heard. He looked tired. He was working 2 jobs just to pay rent. The relative said Ethan had asked about the family, asked about the company, asked about me. The relative told him we were all doing great. The company was thriving. I was engaged to a wonderful man. Ethan had just nodded and driven away. Sometimes people ask me if I feel bad about what happened to Ethan. They ask if I wish things had been different. They ask if I miss my brother. The answer is no. I don't feel bad. I don't wish things were different. I don't miss him. You can't miss someone who never really existed. The Ethan I thought was my brother was a lie. The real Ethan was a snake who would have destroyed everything our family built. He would have sold our father's dream for profit. He would have fired good people to make himself richer. He would have crushed anyone who got in his way, including me. So when people ask if I have any regrets, I say yes, I have one. I regret not seeing who Ethan really was sooner. I regret wasting years trying to work with him. I regret believing he had any love for me or our family. I regret giving him so many chances to hurt me. But I don't regret destroying him. I don't regret taking everything he thought was his. I don't regret protecting our family's company from his greed. I don't regret showing everyone who he really was. I don't regret winning. The company is now worth 3 times what it was when Ethan was CEO. We have 62 locations across 3 states. We employ over 1,000 people. We give back to our community. We're known for treating our workers well. We're everything a family business should be. Dad comes to the office once a month just to walk around. He loves seeing what we've built together. Your mother would be so proud, he always says. Mom passed away when we were teenagers. She never got to see what the company became, but I think she would be proud, not just of the business success, but of how I stood up for myself. I learned something important from all of this. Family isn't just about blood. It's about loyalty and love and respect. Ethan shared my blood, but he wasn't my family. He proved that when he tried to destroy me. Real family builds you up. Real family supports your dreams. Real family celebrates your success. My real family is Dad, who admitted his mistake to represent family values. For years, Ethan made a mockery of that name. He turned it into something cold and corporate. But now it means something again. It means treating people like family. It means building something together. It means protecting what matters. Every morning, I start my day at the original store. I drink a cup of coffee where Dad started everything. I think about how far we've come. I think about all the obstacles we've overcome. I think about Ethan sometimes, too. I wonder if he ever drives by one of our stores. I wonder if he sees our success. I wonder if he realizes what he lost. But mostly, I don't think about Ethan at all. He's a footnote in our company's history. A cautionary tale about greed and betrayal. A reminder of what happens when you put yourself above your family. He wanted to be remembered as the brilliant CEO who built an empire. Instead, he's remembered as the fool who lost everything. I'm getting married next month. The wedding is going to be at the original coffee shop. Dad is walking me down the aisle. All our employees are invited. It's going to be a celebration of love and family and everything good in life. Ethan won't be there, of course. He wasn't invited. He wouldn't come even if he was. He knows he's not welcome. My fiancé never met Ethan. He's only heard the stories. I can't believe someone could be that cruel to their own sister, he said once. What kind of person does that? I told him the truth. A person who loves power more than people. A person who sees family as competition. A person who thinks winning is everything. But Ethan didn't understand what winning really means. Winning isn't about destroying others. It's about building something great. It's about lifting people up. It's about creating success that everyone can share. It's about leaving the world better than you found it. By that measure, Ethan lost before he even started. I sometimes get asked to speak at business schools. They want to hear about leadership and growth and success. But what I really talk about is values. I talk about the importance of treating people with respect. I talk about building trust. I talk about putting principles over profit. Everything Ethan never understood. At one of these talks, a student asked me about dealing with toxic. A moment. No, I said. People like Ethan never admit they're wrong. They just blame everyone else for their failures. And that's exactly what Ethan does. I heard from someone who knows someone who met him that he tells people I stole the company from him. He says I tricked our father. He says I'm the villain in the story. He can't admit that his own greed and cruelty caused his downfall. He'll probably never admit it. But I don't need his apology. I don't need his admission of guilt. I don't need anything from him. I have everything I wanted. I have the company. I have my father's respect. I have a successful business. I have a bright future. I have love and happiness and fulfillment. I have everything Ethan wanted but could never really have because he didn't understand how to earn it. Success is the best revenge, they say. But that's not quite right. Success isn't revenge at all. Success is moving forward. Success is building something positive. Success is proving that you were always capable, despite what anyone said. The revenge part was just a bonus. A very satisfying bonus. Every year on Thanksgiving, our family gathers at Dad's house. We sit around the same table where everything changed. We eat turkey and share what we're grateful for. And every year, there's an empty chair where Ethan used to sit. No one mentions it. No one mentions him. He's been erased from our family story. But I remember him every Thanksgiving. Not with sadness or anger, but with gratitude. I'm grateful he showed his true colors. I'm grateful he pushed me to fight back. I'm grateful he underestimated me. Because if he hadn't done all those terrible things, I might never have discovered how strong I really am. The truth is, Ethan did teach me about business. He taught me what not to do. He taught me how not to treat people. He taught me that power without principles is worthless. He taught me that family means nothing if you're willing to betray it for money. He taught me everything by being a perfect example of failure. I'm 35 now. I've been running the company for 3 years. We're expanding into 2 more states next year. We're launching a charity foundation. We're creating scholarships for business students. We're doing everything Dad dreamed of and more. The family business isn't just to thank him. Some people just aren't good at business, he said with that smirk. He was trying to hurt me. He was trying to humiliate me. He was announcing his victory. Instead, he was predicting his own future. Because Ethan was right. Some people just aren't good at business. Some people think it's all about crushing others. Some people think it's all about grabbing power. Some people think it's all about being ruthless. Those people always fail, eventually. They fail because they don't understand what business really is. Business is about relationships. It's about trust. It's about providing value. It's about building something that lasts. It's about creating opportunities for others. It's about making the world a little better. Ethan never understood any of that. That's why he's working 2 jobs while I'm running an empire. The last thing Dad said to me before he retired was this: "I'm sorry I didn't see what Ethan was doing to you," he said, "but I'm glad you were strong enough to fight back. You saved this company. You saved our family legacy. You saved me from making the biggest mistake of my life." I told Dad it wasn't his fault. Ethan had fooled a lot of people. He was smart and charming and convincing. He knew how to manipulate. He knew how to lie. He knew how to make himself look good by making others look bad. But his tricks only worked for so long. The truth always comes out eventually. And the truth did come out. At that Thanksgiving dinner, in front of everyone who mattered, the truth destroyed Ethan's carefully built facade. All his lies crumbled. All his schemes failed. All his manipulation was exposed. He went from victor to villain in the span of one phone call. That phone call to my lawyer changed everything. It was the moment I had planned for weeks, the moment I had dreamed about. The moment when justice would finally be served. And when Dad's phone rang right on cue, it was perfect. The look of confusion, then realization, then horror on Ethan's face was worth every minute of pain he had caused me. "Could you please call my dad and talk to him about the will?" Those simple words ended Ethan's reign of terror. Those words took away his power. Those words gave me back my birthright. Those words proved that sometimes the underdog wins. Sometimes the good guy triumphs. Sometimes justice from the will ran out quickly. He had expensive tastes and no way to support them anymore. He had burned bridges with everyone in our industry. His reputation was destroyed. His confidence was shattered. His future was gone. All because he couldn't share. All because he had to have everything. If Ethan had just been happy with half the company, he would be rich today. He would be successful. He would have family. He would have respect. He would have everything that actually matters. But half wasn't enough for him. He needed it all. And because he tried to take everything, he ended up with nothing. I've built the company to be worth 10 times what it would have been worth if Ethan had gotten it. He would have sold it quickly for a fraction of its value. He would have taken the money and run. He would have destroyed Dad's legacy for a quick profit. He would have ended the family business forever. You're absolutely right. Let me continue the script to reach exactly 11,000 words. Instead, the business is stronger than ever. It will last for generations. My children will inherit something meaningful. They'll inherit more than money. They'll inherit values and principles and a legacy of treating people right. They'll inherit everything Ethan tried to steal but never understood. The employees who work for us now are happy. They feel valued. They feel respected. They come to work excited about what we're building together. They tell their friends about what a great place it is. They stay for years and grow with the company. They're proud to work for Family Grounds. Under Ethan's leadership, people quit every week. The turnover was terrible. People would leave without giving notice. They would tell others not to apply. The company had a reputation for being a horrible place to work. Ethan had poisoned the culture with his cruelty and ego. Now we win awards for being a great employer. Business magazines write articles about our success. Other companies ask us for advice. Universities send students to study our methods. We've become a model for how family businesses should operate. Everything Ethan said was impossible, we made possible. I keep a journal of everything that's happened. Not for revenge or to hold on to anger, but to remember the lessons. To remember that standing up for yourself is worth it. To remember that truth beats lies eventually. To remember that good people. The fear of doing nothing was worse. The fear of letting him win was unbearable. The private investigator I hired was expensive. It cost me most of my savings, but it was worth every penny. He found things I never could have found on my own. He found proof of Ethan's secret deals. He found witnesses to Ethan's lies. He found documents Ethan thought he had destroyed. He found the truth. The hardest part was pretending everything was normal while I gathered evidence. I had to smile at Ethan during meetings. I had to congratulate him on his fake successes. I had to act defeated and weak. I had to let him think he had broken me. It was the hardest acting I've ever done. But it worked. Ethan got comfortable. He got careless. He started saying things in front of me that he shouldn't have. He started leaving documents on his desk. He started making bigger and riskier moves. He thought I was too stupid to notice. He thought I was too weak to fight. He was wrong on both counts. The recording I played at Thanksgiving was just one of many. I had hours of Ethan saying terrible things, admitting to crimes, laughing about his schemes, planning to destroy everything Dad built. I only played the one recording because that was all I needed. Everyone understood who he was from that one recording. After Ethan was fired, we had to audit everything. We found more theft than we expected. He had been stealing for years. Small amounts at first, then bigger and bigger. He had hidden accounts. He had fake vendors. He had been bleeding the company dry while making it look profitable on paper. If Ethan had succeeded in getting the company, he would have destroyed it within a year. He would have sold off the pieces. He would have fired everyone. He would have walked away with millions while leaving nothing but destruction. Our father's life work would have been gone. Our family legacy would have been erased. But that didn't happen. Instead, we caught him. We stopped him. We saved the company. We saved the jobs of thousands of people. We saved Dad's dream. We saved our family's future. And Ethan? He saved nothing. He lost everything. He became nothing. I heard he tried to start his own business after he left our state. It failed within 6 months. He didn't know how to build something. Family. He couldn't face the truth of what he had become. Maria felt sorry for him. "Maybe we should reach out," she said to me. "Maybe enough time has passed." I told her, no. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Some wounds can't heal. Some people can't be trusted again. Ethan had proven who he was. Believing he could change would be dangerous, because people like Ethan don't change. They just wait. They wait for people to forget. They wait for people to forgive. They wait for another chance to strike. If I let Ethan back into my life, he would try to destroy me again. Maybe not right away, but eventually. It's who he is. The company now has a strict ethics policy. Everyone has to sign it. It talks about honesty and integrity and treating people with respect. I call it the anti-Ethan policy in my head. It's everything he wasn't. It's protection against anyone like him ever getting power again. We also have transparency in everything we do. Financial records are available to all senior staff. Decisions are made in groups, not by one person. No one can do what Ethan did because we built systems to prevent it. We learned from his evil. We built protections against it. Dad is 82 now. He's still sharp and healthy. He comes to every company holiday party. He tells stories about the old days. He never mentions Ethan. It's like he never had a son. He only talks about me and the company and the future. Ethan has been erased from his memory, but I know Dad thinks about him. Sometimes I catch Dad looking sad. Sometimes he stares at old family photos. Sometimes he asks me if I've heard anything about Ethan. I always say no, even when I have. Dad doesn't need to know how far Ethan has fallen. It would only hurt him more. The truth is, I check on Ethan sometimes. Not because I care, but because I want to make sure he's staying away. I want to make sure he's not planning something. I want to make sure he's still defeated. And he is. Every time I check, he's living the same small, bitter life. He works at a car rental company now. He's not even a manager. He's just a regular employee. He processes paperwork. He deals with angry customers. He makes less in a year than our coffee shop managers make in a month. The golden boy giving a speech, he's so excited. He keeps practicing it in front of the mirror. He wants it to be perfect. He wants to talk about family and love and building things together. My fiancé works in the company too. He runs our charity foundation. He understands why the business means so much to me. He understands what I fought for. He understands what I protected. He never would have met me if Ethan had won. I never would have been in a position to meet him. Ethan's loss led to my happiness in every way. Sometimes new employees ask about the company history. They want to know how we became so successful. I tell them about Dad starting with one shop. I tell them about growing slowly and steadily. I tell them about treating people right. I don't tell them about Ethan. He's not part of our history anymore. He's just a footnote. But older employees remember. They remember the fear. They remember the anger. They remember the day Ethan was fired. They remember the relief they felt. They remember when everything changed for the better. They're the most loyal employees we have. They know how bad things could have been. One of those employees, Janet, has worked for us for 15 years. She worked under Ethan. He made her cry multiple times. He threatened to fire her for tiny mistakes. He took credit for her ideas. She was planning to quit before that Thanksgiving. Now she's our head of human resources. She makes sure no one ever feels the way Ethan made her feel. "You saved us all," Janet said to me once. "Not just the company, but all of us who work here. You saved our jobs, our dignity, our futures." I told her she was being dramatic, but she shook her head. "You don't understand how bad it was," she said. "You don't understand what he was planning to do to us." She was right. I didn't fully understand until I saw all the documents. Ethan had lists of people to fire, almost everyone. He was going to replace them all with cheaper workers. He didn't care about the families that would be destroyed. He didn't care about the lives that would be ruined. He only cared about profit margins. Every person on those lists still works for us. They don't know they were on a list. They don't know how close they came to losing everything. But I know, and I make sure they're treated well. Reminds me that Ethan wasn't always evil. He became evil. He chose to become evil. That photo reminds me to watch for signs in others, to not ignore red flags, to not make excuses for bad behavior, to not let anyone manipulate me again, to not assume family means safety. Ethan taught me that family can be your biggest threat if you're not careful. It also reminds me of what I'm protecting my future children from. They'll never have an Uncle Ethan. They'll never know he existed. They'll never be exposed to his poison. They'll grow up in a family that actually loves and supports each other. They'll have what Ethan stole from me for so many years. The power of that Thanksgiving wasn't just in the revelation. It wasn't just in the phone call. It wasn't just in Ethan's humiliation. It was in the choice Dad made. He chose me over Ethan. He chose truth over lies. He chose to admit his mistake. He chose to make things right. That took courage. Dad could have stayed stubborn. He could have refused to believe the evidence. He could have sided with Ethan anyway. But he didn't. He looked at the truth and accepted it. He took action to fix his mistake. He stood up to Ethan. He stood up for me. He acted like a real father. "I should have seen it sooner," Dad says sometimes. "I should have protected you." I always tell him the same thing. "You did protect me," I say. "When it mattered most, you protected me." And it's true. When I needed him most, Dad was there. He believed me. He supported me. He gave me justice. The lawyer who helped us is still our company lawyer. He loves telling the story of that Thanksgiving phone call. "In 30 years of practice," he says, "I've never had a more satisfying moment." He had everything ready. He had coached Dad on what to say. He had made sure everything was legal and binding. He had helped us plan the perfect revelation. That lawyer saw Ethan a few months after everything happened. Ethan had come to his office demanding to see documents. The lawyer refused. Ethan threatened to sue him. The lawyer laughed. "Go ahead," he said. "I would love to destroy you in court, too." Ethan left and never came back. The $20,000 Ethan got was actually generous. The lawyer said we could have given him nothing. We could have fought him getting even that. But Dad insisted on disowned him. The reality that he had lost everything that mattered. The reality that he had done it all to himself. Meanwhile, my reality kept getting better. The company grew, my relationship flourished, my family bonds strengthened, my confidence soared. My dreams came true. Everything Ethan tried to take from me, I got anyway. Everything he wanted for himself, I achieved instead. The universe has a sense of humor sometimes, but it wasn't the universe. It wasn't luck. It wasn't fate. It was planning and courage and determination. It was gathering evidence carefully. It was waiting for the right moment. It was being smarter than my enemy. It was believing I deserved justice. It was fighting for what was mine. If I had given up, Ethan would own everything now. The company would be gone. The employees would be unemployed. Dad would be heartbroken. The family legacy would be destroyed. All because I didn't fight back. But I did fight back. I fought smart. I fought hard. I won completely. The lesson isn't that revenge is good. The lesson is that protecting yourself is necessary. The lesson is that standing up to bullies is important. The lesson is that truth is powerful. The lesson is that justice is possible. The lesson is that sometimes the good person wins. Sometimes the villain loses everything. I think about all the people who told me to just accept it. Family is family, they said. Don't make waves, they said. Maybe Ethan knows best, they said. Don't be difficult, they said. If I had listened to them, I would have nothing now. Thank God I didn't listen. Instead, I listened to my gut that said something was wrong, my gut that said Ethan was dangerous, my gut that said I needed to protect myself, my gut that said I could win if I was smart about it. My gut was right about everything. The morning of that Thanksgiving, I was nervous. My hands were shaking as I got dressed. I kept checking my phone to make sure the lawyer was ready. I kept going over the plan in my head. I kept wondering if it would work. But when I saw Ethan's smirk at dinner, all my nervousness went away. I knew I was doing the right thing. That smirk, that horrible, arrogant smirk. He was so proud of himself. He thought he was so clever. Changed forever. Ethan's scream of rage echoed through the house. "This isn't possible," he kept saying. "This isn't legal. This isn't fair." But it was possible. It was legal. And it was completely fair. He had tried to steal everything through lies. I had taken it back with truth. Perfect justice. The family members who witnessed it still talk about it. They call it the Thanksgiving miracle. They say it was like watching a movie. They say they couldn't believe it was really happening. They say it was the most shocking thing they had ever seen. They say Ethan deserved every second of it. Some of them admitted they knew something was wrong with Ethan. They had seen his cruel side. They had noticed his lies. They had felt uncomfortable around him. But they hadn't known what to do. They hadn't wanted to get involved. They were grateful someone finally stopped him. That's another lesson I learned. When someone is being cruel, people notice. They might not say anything. They might not do anything. But they see it. They remember it. And when that cruel person finally falls, no one catches them. Everyone lets them hit the ground hard. Ethan hit the ground so hard he shattered. His ego shattered. His plans shattered. His future shattered. His delusions shattered. Everything he had built on a foundation of lies shattered into a million pieces, and no one helped him pick up those pieces. He had burned every bridge. He had destroyed every relationship. He was completely alone. I'm not alone. I have Dad. I have my fiancé. I have our extended family. I have loyal employees. I have good friends. I have a community that supports me. I have everything Ethan traded away for his schemes. I have real wealth, not just money, but connection and love and respect. The company's mission statement is simple now. Treat people like family. That's it. That's what we do every day. We treat our employees like family. We treat our customers like family. We treat our suppliers like family. Real family. The kind that supports and protects each other. Not the kind that betrays and destroys. Every year on the anniversary of that Thanksgiving, I give all our employees a bonus. They don't know why that specific date. They just think it's a random generosity. But I know. Right. Dad's voice giving me the validation I had needed for so long. Ethan thought he had turned Dad against me completely. He thought their bond as father and son was unbreakable. He thought Dad would always choose him, but he underestimated something important. He underestimated a father's love for his daughter. He underestimated Dad's sense of justice. He underestimated the power of truth. In the end, that's what destroyed Ethan. Not me, not Dad, not the lawyer. The truth destroyed him. The truth about his theft. The truth about his lies. The truth about his plans. The truth about who he really was. Once that truth was revealed, his defeat was inevitable, and my victory was complete. Not just the business, not just the money, not just the success, but the knowledge that I had fought for what was right and won. The knowledge that I had protected our family legacy. The knowledge that I had saved people's jobs. The knowledge that justice is possible. So when I think back to Ethan saying, "Some people just aren't good at business," with that smirk, I don't feel anger anymore. I feel gratitude, because he was right. Some people aren't good at business. People who lie and cheat and betray. People who put greed over family. People who destroy instead of build. People exactly like him.